everyone tonight. If I haven't met you, my name is Fenn Williamson. I get to serve as the Fuse pastor in Spartanburg. Shout out to my Spartanburg family. We love you. I am also very excited to be here in Anderson tonight because a lot of years of my life, I got to grow up in this ministry. I know we just brought in a 6th grade class all across the state. I remember what it was like doing my first Fuse as a 6th grader, moving up out of NewSpring. As a matter of fact, I remember the outfit that I put out. I remember pulling out that American Eagle graphic t-shirt, those cargo shorts that went well past my knees, high socks, Under Armour shoes. You know what I'm talking about? Matter of fact, I think we actually have a picture of what I looked like during the season. Yes. Come on now. Hey, if y'all only knew what I had to do to convince my dad to buy me Nike Shox when we got in to the new school year. If you don't know Nike Shox, you need to. That was a movement. It was a big time. So, all that being said, 6th graders, I know the life that you guys are living right now. I know what it feels like to step into Fuse. Whether you're in 6th grade or you just graduated out of this ministry, I know what it's like to be a Fuse student because I grew up in this ministry. I know what it's like to walk the halls of your school. I know what it's like to step into summer break. I know what it's like to be here at Fuse sitting in these seats on a Wednesday night. I know this life that you live. And the thing that I want, truthfully, tonight is I want to be able to preach to you from a place, not just as a Fuse pastor, but I want to preach to you from a place of someone that knows the life that you live. Because I'm not that far removed from it. And there are more years that I've spent as someone in this ministry, student, leader, and staff member alike, more years I've spent in this ministry than I haven't. And so I'm excited tonight for us to be able to step into this conversation. We're in this series called Start Now. And we would do a series called Start Now because you don't have to wait for the rest of your life to start for you to step into the purpose that God has given you. A lot of middle school and high school, it can just feel like you're waiting. You're waiting to launch into life man, as soon as I graduate, get about this city. As soon as I graduate, get out my mom's house. Or maybe you're just waiting to get out of middle school. It's man, when I can drive, life's really gonna take off for me. Listen to me. Please don't waste your life waiting on the next season when God has immense purpose in the season that you are in right here, right now. That's why we would do a series called Start Now. And tonight, we're talking about how you and I can start living in good friendships now. Touch your neighbor, say, hey, tonight we're talking about friendship. And as any good message on friendship would begin, we're gonna start with Legos. Any Lego people in the house you rock with Legos? Man, I can remember those Christmas mornings, sprinting out of bed, running to the tree. I remember getting a Millennium Falcon one year. I'm talking the one where the roof opened up. Crazy, okay? Now, it's been some years since your boy has put together a lot of Legos. Life happened, so I can't actually take credit for this Lego piece right here. My good friend Jake Bovey in Spartanburg put this together, so shout out to Jake. He is far more experienced with Legos than your boy, okay? But y'all know the feeling of putting together a Lego set. It's so awesome to see it come together piece by piece, step by step, and along the way you can kind of step back, and something that at one point didn't look like it was having any sort of form slowly starts to take shape, take form, and you can kind of take a step back and admire, man, this starts to look good. And when God created the world, and he created all that we know within creation, it was kind of like Legos, where he put it together step by step, piece by piece, and along the way, he saw that it was good. Scripture teaches us on the first day, he created light, and he saw that it was good. And it was gonna penetrate through the darkness and separate light and dark, and it was always gonna win over the darkness. Then day 2, he creates the sky. Day 3, he creates the space between land and the sky. And he steps back and he sees that it's good. Day 4, he makes the sun, the moon, the stars, and he sees that it's good. Day 5, he makes all the fish that are in the water, the birds that are in the air, and he steps back and he says, man, it's starting to look good. Day 6, he makes all the animals that move on land, and he also makes a human by the name of Adam. He steps back and he sees that it's good. And then on day 7, seeing that all of his creation was good, he rested. All right, so he creates all that we know within this 7-day period, seeing that it's good, it actually doesn't take long before he recognizes that something actually isn't good. Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, we see the first thing in God's creation that wasn't good. It says, the Lord God said, it is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. Some translations say, I will make a companion for him. So God makes all of the things that we know as creation, and then he recognizes that everything is good except this one thing. The one thing that wasn't good, it wasn't even sin. It was solitude. It was the fact that Adam was alone. So what does he do? He creates everything, knows that it's good, sees this one thing that's not good. And so he gives Adam a companion, gives him a friend. Her name was Eve. All right, so now Adam and Eve are living together in relationship horizontally. Adam is living in vertical friendship with God. Everything is good again up until something happens. Something happens. Listen to me. Something happens to take this good and perfect creation, shatters it. I know, heartbreaking. Hey, listen to me, look right here. It's heartbreaking to break a Lego set that somebody spent a lot of time on, but you know what was more heartbreaking? The fact that Adam and Eve, in this good and perfect world that God made, they made a decision to do something outside of God's original good design. They chose something that wasn't good. And in doing so, they shattered this perfect and good creation. Sin fractured humans' ability to have friendship with God in that moment. And so tonight, we're talking about friendship and how you and I can have good friendships because ultimately God made you so intentionally with this idea of friendship in mind. He created you for friendship with himself, but he also created you for friendship with other people. And we got to recognize that ultimately because of sin, that friendship that we have with God was severed. It was fractured. But I think if we were all honest in this room, we could probably think of a couple of examples where sin has done this in our friendship with other people too. I don't know what you walked in here carrying with, but you may have a friendship in your life that looks a little bit more like this. But the good news is that there was this guy named Jesus. He was the one and only Son of God. And Jesus came to restore our friendship with God. And so there's this real need for friendship that you and I have because God designed us for it. And if we can recognize, one, receive the free gift of forgiveness that Jesus offers to make our friendship with God right, and then we can look at the life of Jesus and see how he valued friendship, we can live in friendship with other people as well and have the pieces that were fractured and shattered picked up one by one and pieced back together into something that is good for our lives. Do you guys know that Jesus had friends? Jesus had real good friends, right? And I'm talking like real friends, because there's like different types of friends that we've got in our life, right? You got like those friends that I don't really know if we're like actually friends, but like they're the only like non-weird person in my class, and so I talk to them, right? But like I'm not hanging out with them after. There's like the friends that you guys just do a lot of the same things together. You're like, man, like we kind of are on the same sports team or we do the same extracurriculars. We're just around each other a lot. But honestly, I don't know like if I enjoy being around them. And then there are your real, true friends. You'll stay up till 3 a.m., laugh until you cry. I know everything about you. You know everything about me. There for you in the best times and the worst times. Real friends. Listen to me. Jesus had real friends. And I think if we look at the way that he pursued friendship and the way that he modeled it, we can see what is ultimately the key to unlocking good friendships in our lives. All right, so if you got a Bible with you, I want to invite you to turn to John chapter 15. John chapter 15, we're going to be in verse 12. And as you're getting there, just kind of set this scene of what's going down. John chapter 15 takes place late in the life and ministry of Jesus. All right, so he is sitting at dinner with his best friends in the whole world. All right, so as Jesus is sitting there with his friends, he knows that within just a short amount of time, he's going to be arrested. He knows that as a result of that arrest, he is going to be crucified. And then he's going to be the one that restores our friendship with God by offering up his perfect life for us, restoring friendship with God, and then he resurrects 3 days later. All right, so that's about to go down. And before he steps into that, he's got this one moment with his friends. And so no words are wasted here. It is so intentional, the words that he chooses. And this is what he has to say. John chapter 15, verse 12. It says, "My command is this, love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for one's friends. You're my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father, I have made known to you." I think we can look at this text, we can look at this conversation that Jesus has with his friends, and we can find three truths that if we take those and we apply them to our own lives, our own friendship, we can unlock the real, true, genuine friendship that we were made for, that God designed us for. So the first truth about friendship from the words of Jesus is that real friendship is built on love. Real friendship is built on love. Jesus said, "My command is this, love each other as I have loved you." So Jesus looks his friends in the eyes, looks around this room, and he says, "I've got one command that I want to give you right here and right now. Love each other in the way that I have loved you." He gave them the what and the why at the same time, or the what and the how at the same time. He said, the what, I want you to love each other. The how, exactly the way that you've seen me love you. Jesus loved these guys. I don't know how much reading you've done in the Gospels, but you've probably heard some stories, whether you've read them yourself, you've heard them taught in Fuse, of Jesus loving his disciples, loving his friends. He washed these guys' feet. I don't know how much you know about the area and the time that they were living in, but not a lot of closed-toed shoes at this point, all right? So dogs are out, and it's sandy. Y'all know, like when you go to the beach and you get like sand in your toes, and then you start sweating, or you go in the water and that sand like kind of cakes up a little bit. Imagine that is every day of their life. And Jesus got on his knees and said, "I'll clean your feet. I'll wash those feet. Not because I enjoy it, not because I'm weird and I want to wash your feet. No, because I love you. Because I love you, I will wash your feet." He washed feet. I don't know if you've seen this in scripture, but sometimes these dudes like ask some dumb questions. Y'all got that friend to like ask dumb questions all the time? It's okay, I'm that friend. I ask them pretty dumb questions. These dudes ask some pretty dumb questions from time to time, and Jesus was patient with them. Real love is patient love. He was patient with his disciples. Jesus loved these people enough to forgive them when they did wrong to him. Jesus showed real love. And so when he says, love each other in the way that I have loved you, what he's saying is do what you saw me do. Love each other the way that you saw me love you. Real friendships, they're going to be built on love because Jesus demanded love. But here I want to tell you this. Jesus never demanded anything that he didn't already display. Jesus never asked these guys to do something that he didn't already go first and do. And he will never ask you to do something that he hasn't already modeled and displayed. So when I say that real friendship is built on love, I'm not saying any type of love that it should be built on. I'm saying build your friendships on the love that Jesus had for his friends, the love that Jesus has for you. His love is both the standard and the source of real friendship. So real friendship is built on love, but the second truth that we can draw from this is that real friendship requires sacrifice. Real love, which is the standard of friendship, friendship demands real love. Real love is sacrificial love. When Jesus washed his disciples' feet, he made a sacrifice to do that. And you see, Jesus understood sacrifice better than anybody else ever will. Because we read this right here, verse 13, greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for one's friends. Jesus gave his life for his friends, the ultimate sacrifice. But you know what? Jesus gave the ultimate sacrifice, not just for the friends that were in the room that night. He gave the ultimate sacrifice for all of us too. Because if we come back to this idea that sin fractured our friendship with God, that didn't sit well with God. He didn't say, oh man, well, they want to do their own thing. Let them do it. Who needs them? I don't need to be their friend. No, God so desperately wanted friendship with you that he was willing to sacrifice his only son just to have friendship with you. I don't know what you came in here with. I don't know what your understanding and familiarity of God is, but please let me tell you, God so desperately wants friendship with you. So much so, he was willing to give his one and only son for it. Jesus wanted restored friendship with you so bad that he was willing to be misunderstood his entire life. He was willing to ultimately be arrested for a crime he didn't commit and then give his life sacrificially, the perfect life that you and I could not live. He gave that up. Why? So that we could have the pieces of our friendship put back together. Jesus understood that real love, it couldn't just be built, or real friendship couldn't just be built on love. It needed to be built on sacrificial love. So for you and me, we have to understand that if we want to have real friendships, it's going to come at a cost. It's going to require sacrifice. Because anything that's worth having, it comes at a cost. Y'all got that friend that, like, when you go to their house, maybe you get in the cabinet and you see nothing but off-brand snacks. You know what I'm talking about? Some of you might be that. Hey, let me just go ahead and put myself out there. I ain't above no great value, okay? We are well acquainted. I don't know what you know about working at church. Don't make a ton of money, okay? So sometimes you gotta pull up, like walk past the Pop-Tarts and head to the Toasty Tarts, okay? And there are some off-brand snacks that they get the job done. There are some off-brand snacks that, like, low-key, a little bit better. Whales are so much better than goldfish, and I will fight anybody over that, okay? Sometimes off-brand is better, but you know what I don't play about? I do not play about my cereal. Do not come at me with your off-brand cereals. It's not the same. It's not the same. Some of y'all all about some Lucky Charms, okay? And I'm okay with Lucky Charms. Like, it's okay. The marshmallows really do it for me. Without that, it's basically cat food, okay? I'm okay with the marshmallows and everything within Lucky Charms. You know what I'm not okay with? Marshmallow magic. Don't come at me with your marshmallow magic. There are 0 real ingredients in that. Don't eat it. Stay away. Now, my personal favorite cereal, I know there's a lot of you, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You rock with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And let me just say, I love me some Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but it is second place to my favorite. Because in my house growing up, we were a Frosted Flakes house, baby. Frosted Flakes is safe, it's trusted. I ain't gonna get no tummy aches from eating Frosted Flakes. But what you know about corn shapes? That ain't Tony the Tiger, bro. That's Leo the Leopard, different guy. And hey, last but not least, this is my favorite one. We gotta get moving. I don't know if y'all are Trix people. Trix, criminally underrated. All right, tricks is really good. But what you know about pranks, you may have had tricks, but you ain't never had pranks that straight up, listen to me, straight up stole Swiper from Dora the Explorer, slapped it on the box, thought we wouldn't notice, okay? Fuse, listen to me. All across the state, when you pay more, you get more. When you pay more, you get more. It's true for friendship, so much more so than it is with our cereal. If you are willing to pay more, you will get more friendship. Real friendship is going to require sacrifice. I felt this in a way that I had never fully understood when I moved from Anderson to Spartanburg in 2020. In the middle of a pandemic, just trying to follow a call that God had placed on my life, I picked up, put everything I owned into a box truck, and I drove away from the closest friends that I had had for my entire life. And I recognized pretty early getting there, real friendship requires sacrifice. Because if I wanted to continue living in the friendships that I had in my hometown, I was going to make sacrifices. There were going to be nights where I was tired, nights where all I wanted to do was just go home and watch TV and shut my brain off. But you know what? My soul needed friendship more. So I got in the car. I drove an hour each way just to sit at my friend's apartment to watch football games, to watch basketball. Because my soul needed that so much more than my body needed rest. I also learned, moving to a city where I didn't know anybody in the middle of this shutdown pandemic, I was gonna have to go first if I wanted to make friends in my new city. So I'm in the gym saying, hey man, do you mind spotting me? And then you wanna go eat after? I don't know, and be friends? Nobody wants to spot Fenn at the gym. He's just dying under a bench press because he's weird. Sometimes you gotta go first. If you wanna have good friendships, hear me, real friendship requires sacrifice. But when you pay more, you get more. And third and finally, looking at this text, we can see that real friendship is built on love. It requires sacrifice. And real friendship partners in purpose. Verse 14, Jesus says, you are my friends if you do what I command. Little helpful tip. Somebody's in the lunchroom, says, hey, you can be my friend if you do what I command. Stay away from them, all right? Don't be their friend. But you can be friends with Jesus because remember, Jesus didn't demand something he didn't already display. He says, you are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends. For everything that I learned from my Father, I have made known to you. Jesus said, you are so much more than a servant. You are a friend. If you've been coming to NewSpring for a while, we talk often about this idea of friendship with God. And I think there's been a lot of us, maybe over the years, myself included in this, that sometimes have had a hard time with this idea of calling God my friend. Because it feels sometimes like it lacks the proper respect and reverence. It's isn't Jesus king? Shouldn't I call him that as opposed to my friend? Listen to me, I think that sometimes maybe we would struggle with calling God our friend because we've watered down the meaning of friendship. Because God wanted friendship so desperately with you that he was willing to give up everything for it. Jesus so clearly held friendship above servanthood. And so yes, your life is meant to serve God with, but ultimately, he calls you so much more than a servant. He calls you his friend. He holds a friend in a higher regard. And so please understand that for Jesus, he didn't just want servants, he wanted friends. And if you and I want to have good friendships, they have to partner in purpose in the same way that Jesus brought his friends into his purpose. This can be some of the greatest gifts that Fuse as a ministry can give you. I told you, I grew up in this thing. And there were points where my friends at Fuse were not the closest friends in my life. The friends that I had that were my closest friends, they were the guys I played football with. They were the ones that I went to school with. But pretty soon, my friendships began to partner in purpose. Because my friends that were on a football team, we shared the purpose of pursuing a state championship that we would never win. And then when we graduated, we no longer had the same purpose. But you know who shared in purpose with me? It was my Fuse group. It was my friends that were committed to following Jesus for the rest of their lives. And so I'm telling you, your friendships, they have to be built on love. Real friendship is going to require sacrifice, but also real friendship should partner in purpose, because Jesus brought his friends into his purpose. And so as we get ready to close, I would love to invite everybody just to bow your heads and close your eyes. And in this posture of reflection, I'd love for us just to sit on this truth that God designed you with a need for real friendship. And this kind of life-giving friendship, it is possible, but it's going to have to be built on love. It's going to require sacrifice, and it has to be partnered in purpose. And I think for us, in order to step into the real friendship that God created for us, we must first take the role of the disciples, Jesus' friends, and see that his friendship with us is the most important friendship that we're ever going to have. Sin fractured our friendship with God, but because of his desire for friendship for us, that it was so great and it was built on a love greater than our own, a love that was willing to give the ultimate sacrifice to call us friends and then bring us in to partner with his purpose for us. His friendship is the greatest friendship you will ever know. And so if your friendship with God is still fractured, I'm here to tell you it can be restored today. The sacrifice has already been made for you. All you got to do is receive this free gift of forgiveness, this gift of purpose, this gift of restored friendship. The Bible says if you'll confess your sin, you'll be forgiven. And if you call on the name of the Lord, you will be saved. And so if you want a restored friendship with God tonight, and you want to be sure of that, because maybe you don't know if you've ever done this before, I just want to invite you to pray this simple prayer after me, just in the quiet space of your own heart, with every head bowed, every eyes closed. If you want restored friendship with God tonight, you have never asked him to save you and forgive you of your sin, would you say this after me? Say, Jesus, I want to be friends with you. I know my sin separates me from that, and I want to be forgiven and welcomed back into friendship with you. I want to follow you with all of my life. Will you save me? Help me be your friend and your disciple. With every head bowed and every eye closed all across the state, if you just prayed that prayer, would you raise your hand just high enough to where a leader around you can see it? Leaders, be looking around. These leaders are not going to do anything weird. They just want to talk to you about the decision that you made to step into friendship with God. People are moving. Just keep everybody's head bowed, eyes closed. And while they're moving, everyone else all across the state, maybe you've already given your life to Jesus, but tonight, you're sitting here, you're reevaluating your friendships. You're thinking, man, are my friendships built on love? Do they have an element of sacrifice? Do they partner in purpose? And I think the best thing that I would love to advise us to step into tonight during response would be to ask this question. Maybe you need to write this down in your notebook. What kind of friend am I? Because if the people in this room decided they were going to go first and love the way that Jesus loved, sacrifice the way that Jesus sacrificed, and partner in purpose the way that Jesus brought his friends in on his purpose, we would step in to better friendships now. So now as we get ready to respond, there's a couple ways that we do this every week. The first one, maybe you can pray in your seat. Maybe you're thinking about your own friendship with God, and the most fitting thing would be to ask him for better friendship, both with him and with others. You can pray in your seat. You can pray with a leader if you want to. Anybody with a green name tag, they would love to pray with you. One thing we do every week also is we open up this space in front of the stage. We call it an altar. And it's just simply a meeting place that we've set apart for you and God. And so I don't know what your friendship with God looks like. Maybe it's been stronger at points than it is right now on June 11th, 2025. I'd love to invite you, if you feel so led, maybe to come down to the altar and just declare to him that you want to have better friendship with him and be a better friend to him. And then all of us are going to respond in worship. So if I can, all across the state, every room, invite everybody to your feet. We're going to pray, and then we're going to respond. Jesus, we love you. And Lord, I am so grateful that you have restored our ability to have friendship with you. And so, Lord, as we prepare to respond, I pray that you would receive the praise that your friends bring to you tonight. Would we worship like friends, not like servants, but like friends of the Most High, who have been loved by him, sacrifices have been made for us by him, and ones that get to partner in purpose with him. Would you receive this praise now? In Jesus' name.